So most people, unless you've got an intolerance, are very used to eating and cooking eggs. You can cook them in all kinds of different ways, and we probably take them for granted. And I imagine that most of us don't really think very much about how an egg actually works and how it's been made by God. Eggs. So, how do you like your eggs? So this is just a really quick picture of all the different parts of an egg and an eggshell and the insides of the egg. Um, there's lots of little bits, and I'm just going to explain what some of them are because it is just absolutely amazing how God has just made something like an egg to be so perfect that it can, in the end, support a growing chick. Um, so if you can see on the screen, there's some like sort of white jelly-like bits around the yolk, and these are cords that are attached either side of the yolk to keep it in the center of the egg, because without them, the yolk would settle at the side and the chick would be malformed. So even these weird squiggly little jelly-like things actually hold the yolk in the middle of the egg. Okay, the amount of times we crack an egg and chuck away the eggshell. So the eggshell actually protects the egg, and it has about 10,000 tiny holes in it. The shell, we can't see them and we can't, we don't notice them, but there are tiny little pores which let air into the shell so that the growing chick has the air it needs. And if you put a egg with a growing chick inside into a pot of water, the chick would suffocate and die because it would be getting no air through the pores of the shell. And as the egg matures and ages, moisture and carbon monoxide leave the egg through the pores. So, which again is something I never knew before. There's also, I know when we boil an egg and we peel it, very often there's that annoying film that ends up messing around with our boiled eggs. Well, that's a membrane which is just under the shell of the egg, and that protects the chick against bacteria and germs and anything that will try and come in and hurt it. And this is the yolk. Obviously, we all know that's a yolk. But the yolk provides the chick with the food it needs inside the egg. Now, I can't believe that I thought this, but I actually thought that the yolk was an undeveloped chick. And that's what I've always thought. That's what the yolk was until doing this little PowerPoint, and I realised that the yolk is nothing to do with the body of the chick. It's just that the chick will eat and get all its nutrients from the yolk until eventually the yolk has disappeared. So that just shows how much how ignorant I am. Okay. So again, we've got an egg, and right at the top you can see there's a little space where there's an air sac, and this is where the chick draws its first breath before peeling through the shell. So, you know, if you think that all these little things, if they were not part of this egg and this shell and everything else, then there's no way this chick could develop. And it's just amazing. God knows exactly what is needed for this egg to do its job. And inside of the egg shell, the inside of the eggshell dissolves as the chick develops, providing it with minerals, and it weakens the shell. So the shell gets weaker and weaker as the chick is getting more mature, so that eventually it can be broken by the chick, and the chick will have a little milk tusk that it can peck through with. If the eggshell didn't weaken as the chick got older, then the chick would not be able to get out of the egg. So, you know, it really is amazing that God's planned everything to the minutest detail, and I haven't done this justice at all. If you really look into how an egg is formed and how it grows and all it does, you know, it's amazing. It blows your mind. It's amazing. So if you've got time to go away and do that, it really is worth it. So